5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All systems go with Josh Appelbaum starts now.
Hello and welcome to episode 470 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. I am your host, Josh Appelbaum. What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. A new week begins, but more importantly, guys, it is officially conference tournament week. That's right. We've been grinding college basketball all season long. Go way back to the early months there in October, November. And then, of course, we got to conference play. Now we're into conference tournaments. And now we got March Madness very, very close here. It's technically March already, but the madness really starts there once we get Selection Sunday. We get the tournament breakdown. We can start thinking about building contrarian brackets, which I've kind of hit on a little bit before, and I just want to kind of re-up it and also mention that those of you who have downloaded the Rhythm app, which, again, Rhythm powers this pod, does a great job. We have the Thursday 6 p.m. Rhythm Rundown. But also, Rhythm, you can now request your AI-generated brackets based on your models. So you can just request the house model, which is the Rhythm model that everyone can follow. Or if you've created your own model, you can also request those, and they'll start to generate and give you some bracket generator opportunities. So highly recommend doing that right now. But in terms of creating a contrarian bracket, again, I want to just tease this a bit because it's exciting to think about how close the tournament is from now. But the idea with a contrarian bracket is you got to differentiate yourself from the masses. Because if you have a bracket with the same champion as everyone else, again, even if your champion wins, you might not win your bracket because you're just like the crowd. In order to create a contrarian bracket, the first thing you do is you start in the middle and then work your way out. That might sound a little weird because, typically we've always been taught you get your bracket, you start on the outside. You start filling in your round of 64, 32, Sweet 16, and you work your way in. Contrarian bracket works the other way because the important thing with a contrarian bracket is knowing that the most important thing is to get your champion right and also to have a different champion than everyone else. People who really focus on the outside after the first round, they might be, in first place in their bracket pool, but they may not win the whole thing. In fact, oftentimes first place after the first weekend, you're not going to win the whole thing because you might have a great opening weekend, but doesn't mean you can win because you got to basically win your champion. Whoever gets the champion right is most likely going to win their tournament or their bracket. So you got to pick a champion other than everyone else. Now, right now, going off the odds, Duke is the favorite plus 320 to win it all at DraftKings. Michigan is plus 340. And I would venture to say that 90% of all the brackets from the betting public are going to have either Duke or Michigan as their champion. So as a contrarian bracket creator, we can't pick Duke or Michigan. If Duke or Michigan wins, we tip our cap, call the public our daddy. We got to pick somebody else. So first option in a contrarian bracket would be pick Arizona, plus 450, third best odds. Or the team that I'm kind of interested in right now is Florida, plus 750. They kind of started off slow, but they've been awesome last couple months. They won it last year. That's a champion that if Florida wins, most likely you're going to win your tournament here. Now, Houston's plus 1,200, Illinois plus 1,700, UConn plus 1,800. So obviously there's some other teams available to play. But the idea is to pick a different champion. So if you pick Arizona and they win it all, or you pick Florida and they win it all, you're probably going to be right there looking to win your bracket. So just want to tease everybody. Again, remind everyone about the contrarian bracket and just something to look forward to as we get close to Selection Sunday. Now, that being said, because it's officially conference tournament week, we have 14 conference tournament games to talk about today. Or I guess, to be honest, we're only going to talk about 3. But it's exciting when you get to conference tournament time because regular season is over. You can throw away home road. We're all neutral courts at this point. But we are looking at 3 short money line favorites for today, all conference tournament games. 2 of which have some good sharp line moves, or I guess all 3 do. But one in particular, very, very sharp dog to fave line move. One of our favorite system plays to get down on. So without further ado, let's waste no more time and talk about 3 plays for tonight. And you guys know the drill. 3 plays. Let's try to go 2-1, eke out a winning night. So first bet on the board for me, and these are all kind of early games, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Let's talk about Campbell playing Monmouth. Now this is the Coastal Athletic Conference, the CAA semifinals. Let's talk splits, system matches, line moves, sharp mush edges, and I'll give you my play for this one. So coming into it, we got Campbell 16-17 on the year. They are the 9 seed. They've won 3 straight. They just beat UNC Wilmington 85-70 in the quarterfinal. Won outright as a 7-point neutral site dog. Meanwhile, Monmouth 18-14, the 4 seed. They've won 4 straight. They just beat Drexel 65-57 in the quarterfinal, covering as a 4.5-point neutral site favorite. So what we're seeing across the market here, well, this game opened with Monmouth listed as a very short 1 or 1.5 point neutral site favorite. And it's very clear here that the pros are going with Monmouth because we've seen Monmouth, number 1, get steamed up -1.5, -115, or -120. And we did see a few other books touch as high as -2 or even -2.5 throughout the day. So this book, this line move has never gotten down to 1 or pick 'em or hop the fence to Campbell, dog to fave line move. Nope. All movement liability has been toward Monmouth, juicing up the Monmouth side, 1.5, -115, -20, touching as high as -2, -2.5. So all movement liability on Monmouth. That's our first indicator of smart money going with the Hawks here. Now, we look at the bet splits. At DraftKings, 74% of spread bets, 79% of spread dollars are on Monmouth. At Circa, this one really gets me excited, only 50% of spread bets, but over 90% of spread dollars on Monmouth. So both DraftKings and Circa, so big public national book, sharp wise guy book out in Vegas, both are showing a pronounced low bets, higher dollar split in favor of Monmouth. Now, you guys know me. Monmouth is around -1.5, -2. They've touched 2.5. Again, odds makers are telling us it could be a tight game. So we got to make sure we rob the bank and we don't get caught on our way out. So I'm going money line here. Money lining a short favorite with Monmouth. I got Monmouth at -130. You can still get that number, I believe, at FanDuel, but definitely shop around because I'm seeing some books -135 as high as -140. I like the split in particular on the money line at DraftKings, 79% money line bets, but over 80% money line dollars. So a big, heavy one-way split there in favor of Monmouth to earn a victory and advance in the tournament. A couple advantages that jumped out to me with Monmouth. Better defensive efficiency. They rank 134th in the country versus 249th for Campbell. Better three-point shooting, 135th versus 247th. They have better free throw shooting. Huge in a close game. You got to make your free throws and hope the other team misses theirs. But they rank 103rd versus 193rd for Campbell. And Monmouth holds their opponents to a better effective field goal percentage, 113th versus 306th for Campbell. Also, Monmouth, they force more turnovers on defense. So turn your team over, fast break, get some extra possessions, demoralizes the other team. They rank 33rd in forced turnover percentage versus 141st for Campbell. Lastly, a little bit of a rest versus tired. Now, both teams did play yesterday. So they're on equal footing in terms of the last 24 hours. But Campbell is playing their 3rd game in 3 days. Remember, or if you don't remember, that's okay too. It's a small conference tournament. But Monmouth had a bye in the first round. So Monmouth is playing their 3rd game in 7 days versus Campbell playing their 3rd game in 3 days. That's when you get tired legs. Tough matchup here. So rest versus tired would certainly benefit Monmouth. So Monmouth opened as a very short favorite. They've been juiced up and become more of a favorite. We got good splits, especially on the money line. We got better stat advantages. We got a rest versus tired. I want to fade a team playing 3 games in 3 days. It's always a tough spot, no matter how young and youthful you are. And then lastly, little bonus, little cherry on top here. I popped open Juice Reel, noticed a 25% sharp mush edge in favor of Monmouth. So the bigger, sharper wagers, like you guys out there listening who have downloaded Juice Reel, synced up your books, tracked your records, all those winning bettors, or 25% of them, or 25% more than the losing bettors are playing Monmouth as well. So first put on the board, early tip, 6 p.m. Eastern time in the CAA semifinals. I'm going Monmouth money line. Win the damn game, survive in advance, -130 on the money line at FanDuel. Next one for you. Let's talk a 6 p.m. game. Another 6 p.m. game, so a couple early ones. New Orleans against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. Now, this is the Southland Tournament quarterfinal. New Orleans comes in 15-17 on the year. They're the 5 seed. They did just beat Houston Christian 73-60 in yesterday's first round, covered as a 5.5 point neutral site favorite. Meanwhile, Texas A&M Corpus Christi 17-14 on the year. They are the 4 seed. They've won 3 straight. just beat East Texas A&M 84-71 in their regular season finale. They covered that game as a 7.5-point home favorite. So what have you seen across the market here? Well, this game opened with Corpus Christi listed as low as a 1.5-point neutral site favorite. And the public, they don't really know what to do here. It's basically 50-50, ticket split right down the middle. Yeah, Corpus Christi has the better record, but New Orleans has already played a game. They got to win. Maybe people bet on New Orleans and they're just, riding and playing them again because they made them some money yesterday. But what do we always talk about? 50-50 line moves. When the public is split, doesn't know what to do, the ticket split, remember, 50-50 is always about the raw ticket count, not the amount of money. Because you can always tell where the public is by the ticket split or ticket count or percentage of bets, not the percentage of money. So public's 50-50. However, 50-50, theoretically in a vacuum, a line should not move at all. Why? Because, you would expect the action to be even. Therefore, the odds makers have no reason to move the line up or down because the tickets are split. However, when you have a 50-50 game, yet you do see a line move, that's meaningful to me. It tells me that even though the public doesn't know what to do, they're undecided, pros have taken a position here. And they've taken a position on Texas A&M Corpus Christi because Corpus Christi has gone from -1.5 up to -2. Some shops reaching as high as -2.5. So this line has never gotten down to 1 or lower. It's always been moving toward A&M, even though public's undecided. So it tells me smart money here is going with Corpus Christi. Now, KenPom does have Corpus Christi winning by 1 point, 74-73. So you guys know where I'm going with this one. This is a money line play for me. Let's protect ourselves. If they win by 1, we got to win this bet. So we are looking at a money line around -130 at the score. Some books higher, like -135, -140. But still, not a bad money line split there. Texas A&M Corpus Christi, bunch of advantages that jumped out to me. They shoot the 3 better, 184th in the country versus 276th for New Orleans. The Privateers, I must admit, that's a cool nickname. But also better defensive efficiency, 103rd in the country versus 214th for New Orleans. You also have Corpus Christi forcing more turnovers on defense, 34th versus 324th, and they limit their opponents to fewer offensive rebounds. So you get your defensive rebounds, don't allow extra possessions. They are ranked 92nd in the country in fewest offensive rebounds allowed. You look at the other team, New Orleans, they're 318th. They give up quite a few. Also going to bank on the Islanders' defense here. So Texas A&M Corpus Christi Islanders, they are allowing 68 points per game this year. The Privateers of New Orleans giving up 78 points per game. So definitely better defense. Hopefully that shows up today. And then also rest versus tired. Advantage Corpus Christi. Islanders last played on March 2nd, so they've been off for about a week. The Privateers, they're playing the second leg of a back-to-back. So a little bit tired. So add it all up here, guys. Again, short number. Again, very similar. Like if you like Monmouth, you like A&M Corpus Christi. Very similar. Short fave becoming more of a fave. Good split. System matches. Line moves. I went Corpus Christi money line. -130 at the score. Last bet of the night. 7 p.m. Eastern time. Let's go to the Horizon League tournament. This is a semifinal matchup between Northern Kentucky and Wright State. Now, Northern Kentucky comes in 20-13 on the year. They are the 7 seed. Just beat up on Green Bay 96-76 in yesterday's second round. Easily covered as a 3.5-point neutral site favorite. Meanwhile, Wright State 21-11 on the year. They're the 1 seed in this tournament. They've won 3 straight. They just beat up on Cleveland State 90-61 in the regular season finale. Easily covered as a 14.5-point home favorite. So what have we seen across the market here? Well, this game opened with Northern Kentucky listed as a 1.5-point neutral site favorite. And the biggest thing we've seen in this game is one of our favorite plays, a dog to fave line move, because we opened Northern Kentucky -1.5 neutral site. We've now flipped to Wright State -1.5 neutral site. So dog to fave, Wright State open getting 1.5. Now they're laying 1.5. Tells us anytime you flip dog to favorite that a lot of big money came in your favor to cause that adjustment. Wright State has a bunch of good bet splits, in particular out at Circa. This one really jumped out to me. 75% of spread bets, 95% of spread dollars laying it here with Wright State. So in particular, sharp book out in Vegas like Circa telling us we got big money, low bets, higher dollars with that corresponding line move dog to fave toward Wright State. Now KenPom has Wright State winning, but only by 1 point, 78-77. but he does have the Raiders ranked relatively quite a bit higher, 144th in the country versus 172nd for Northern Kentucky. But you guys know the deal. Dog to fave, +1.5 to -1.5. KenPom's got him by 1, so this is a money line play. It's a pretty short money line. I got -125. That's pretty widely available everywhere. But Wright State has a bunch of advantages, a lot on offense. Like I think the play here, because we have seen this total pretty high, like 157.5 now at this point. But high scoring game, good offense. I think that's Wright State's path to victory. They have the better offensive efficiency, 118th versus 168th for Northern Kentucky. Better effective field goal percentage, 57th versus 98th. They have the better offensive rebound percentage, 78th versus 126th. They have the better three-point shooting, big advantage here. Let's hit some threes for Wright State. They're ranked 49th in the country, 208th for Northern Kentucky, and better free throw shooting, 109th versus 212th for Northern Kentucky. Another rest versus tired advantage, because Wright State last played on March 4th. Northern Kentucky, meanwhile, they played yesterday. They're on the second leg of a back-to-back. So rest versus tired, dog to fave line move, great splits, bunch of stat advantages, and then, oh, by the way, here's the cherry on top. Nothing huge, but a 5% sharp mush edge on the money line for Wright State at Juice Reel. So a lot of sharps at Juice Reel also thinking, hey, let's money line this dog to fave Wright State Raiders team. So last bet of the night for me, Wright State on the money line, -125. So our 3-pack, Monmouth, Texas A&M Corpus Christi, and Wright State. All 3 money lines around -130 or less. Let's try to go 2-1, eke out a winning day to start off conference tournament week. So that about does it for episode 470 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. This is the part of the pod where we wrap things up, and I always start first by saying thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for taking the time out of your day, out of your busy lives, to pull up a chair to the virtual bar and sweat some sharp, data-driven breakdowns with me. Now, if you do enjoy this pod, hopefully you value the insights, whether you tail and play every game I mention, or you pick and choose, or whatever you want. You just want to sit back and listen to some breakdowns because you find it interesting. Either way, thank you for listening. And if you want to help me grow this pod, please, would you do a few things? I promise you, it doesn't cost you any money. It's very easy to do. But number one, give this podcast a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes. It would really help us to continue to grow and rise up the charts. If you'd like to leave a comment under the review section or click the follow button, that way you get a pop-up on your phone as soon as the pod drops each day. If you want to recommend the pod to a friend, or if you would like to retweet the pod when I put it out on Twitter each afternoon at Josh_Insights, I would very much appreciate any or all of those things. Next, if you enjoy this style of betting breakdown, data-driven, sharp contrarian betting, focusing on line movement, bet splits, system matches, focusing on the numbers, not the teams, focusing on and then trying to analyze and interpret what the betting market is doing, how it's reacting, trying to piece together the data-driven puzzle. If this style of betting has appealed to you, it's opened a door to you, it's provided you a blueprint to track and kind of interpret the market, and maybe you want to learn more about data-driven betting, or you have someone in your life who could use some data-driven tips. Maybe they've never bet before and want to get into betting, or they bet a lot and lose a lot and they have no strategy or bankroll management, or maybe you just want to support the team. I would love for you to go to Amazon.com and type in one of two things. You can type in the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook, or type in the Everything Guide to Sports Betting. Those are my 2 books. Very proud of both, but if you want to grab one or both of them, bring them to the sports book. I'll sign them for you. I'll buy you a beer or a ginger ale, and we'll sweat some games together and hopefully catch a couple tickets. Next, have you downloaded Rhythm and Juice Reel yet? My 2 favorite sports betting apps. They help me win. I'm confident they're going to help you win because they're all about the data. Rhythm, who does a great job of powering this pod. Reminder, every Thursday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, we got a Rhythm Rundown. Myself and Kate Harper stream live on Twitter. You can also request those AI-generated brackets if you want to get ready for the tourney. But Rhythm is great for their AI-backed models and predictions for game bets and player props. And then Juice Reel. So many great features. You can get the Robo Jackson best bet picks, sharp mush indicators, arbitrage plays, shop for the best line futures. You can sync up your sports books, get a running report card of your action. And of course, lastly, you can support the pod by signing up to get the official All Systems Go best bet picks directly and exclusively on the Juice Reel app. As soon as I make a bet, it goes right to Juice Reel. I'm going to bet these games before the pod, so if you want to get them early, But I consider this a tip jar. This pod is free. It costs you nothing. If you want to let me know you appreciate the pod, I'd love for you to sign up to get the ASG Best Bet picks on Juice Reel. It costs $4.99 a week. No, not $499, $4.99 a week. So $5 for a week's worth of plays, and you are, again, tipping your podcast host. So those of you who have signed up for the picks or thinking about it, or maybe you just want to follow for, March Madness or baseball, I really appreciate it. So thank you very much. But while you're at it, give Rhythm and Juice Reel a 5-star review in the App Store. Lastly, do you have a live odds page? Well, if you don't have one, you need one. It's such a critical tool. It's so important. If you want to be a data-driven bettor, you got to be able to track the market. What are all the games I can bet on? I need live in-game wagering odds when the game gets going. I need live scoring. More importantly, I want to track all the numbers to make me figure out who I want to bet prior to the game taking place. So you'll get all the games with the opening column on the left that never changes. To the right, all the current odds. You can see which direction the line has moved. You can pull up the line history. You can see when lines are steaming, they get lit up in red. And you can find a book that hasn't adjusted yet and still giving you a good number. And as always, getting the best number, the best price. So if you want to play, a team on the money line and every book's minus 140, but you find that one book at minus 135, might not seem like a big deal, but you save 5 cents. And if you do that all year long in every bet you make, or in a spread sport, plus 7.5 versus plus 7, it can really make a difference. And that's where Odds Logic can really help you out. So if you'd like to give Odds Logic a shot, even if you just want to try it for the tournament, you can use this special link. It's going to give you a 7-day free trial and 50% off your first month. It is oddslogic.com/Josh123. So that about does it for the opening pod of the week, conference tournament week. And I can tell you guys, sun is shining. It's like 55 degrees where I'm at. The snow is melting. I can hear the birds chirping. Man, it's feeling like spring here. So a lot to get excited about. And we haven't even gotten to baseball yet. So again, good time to be betting on sports. But as always, guys, 2 final thoughts. 1, whether I see you at the Borgata in Atlantic City, Twin River in Rhode Island, the Brook in New Hampshire, Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun down in Connecticut, at the Encore in Boston, Plainridge Park Casino, MGM Springfield, or the Nash in my neck of the woods on the border of Massachusetts and New Hampshire, or out in the desert where the true grinders get down, where Billy Walters sends his number runners, where the lowest juice possible is found at the South Point, or Sweat and Sharp Contrarian plays, jumping in the stadium swim pool when you cash a big ticket at Circa. Wherever it may be, you're going to walk up to me, hopefully show me some conference tournament winners for tonight. And guess what? First one will be on me. Next one's on you. We'll post about the book, get some nachos, sweat some games together. Sounds pretty good to me. So as always, guys, coming off a winning day, a losing day, a hot streak, a cold streak. Again, whether we're running hot or running cold, we're never as good as we think. We're never as bad as we think. So we're somewhere in the middle, and we just got to stay even-keeled through the good, the bad, the ups and the downs, the grinding. Again, ups and downs in life, same thing in sports betting. But we just got to stick to the model, stick to the blueprint, never get too high or too low, discipline with our bankroll management, and play the system matches. And avoid the games that don't. Check off the boxes. So you guys know, or maybe you don't, but that's okay, because we got new people listening, which is awesome. But our system matches, they're a little complex, but they go something like this. Against the public, with the house, with the pros, flat bet, avoid parlays, get that closing line value. If we can do that, we're going to be successful sports bettors. So hope everyone had a great weekend. Wish you the best of luck here on a Monday night. Let's get after it for conference tournament week. But as always, guys, let's see if we can cash some tickets, and then we'll be right back at it tomorrow. That'll be a big Tuesday edition. That'll be episode 471 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. Good luck, everybody, and have a great Monday night.